Alola is home to a lot of cool Pokemon, and some of them are green. And you know what my favorite color is? Well, it's actually blue, but today we're gonna pretend that it's green as we find out the answer to the question, can I beat Pokemon Moon using only green Pokemon? There are only two rules. 1. I can only catch and use green Pokemon or Pokemon that evolve into green colored Pokemon, and they only have to be green to some degree. So for instance, Cascoon will be eligible because it evolves into Dustox. Caterpie and Metapod are also eligible, of course, but since Butterfree doesn't have a speck of green on it, I can't use it. And rule number 2, no using items in battle. Except for held items, we'll definitely be using those. We start off with me picking my starter. Like I just said, all my Pokemon have to be somewhat green, so you can probably guess which starter I picked. I of course picked Rowlet and named him Ren. Yeah, the names of my Pokemon will be based on how you say green in other languages. More about that in the description. We then have our first battle with Hal and it's Rowlet versus Popplio. You couldn't throw this matchup even if you tried. After that, we finally get our first encounter, Bear the Grubbin. No, he's not green, but Charger Bug is, so I'ma let it slide. We fight Hop again. Now he has a Pichu, but Bear has Mudslap, so we handle them easily. The next day, Kukui gives me the Rotom Dex and sends me off to the trainer school, and I get a new encounter in the form of an Alolan Grimer named Midori. We defeat the school trainers and their principal. This part of the game felt like filler. We enter Hau'oli and have our first encounter with the best evil team in all of Pokemon, Team Skull. We handle them with ease. We make our way down Route 2, defeat the Trial Rattata so we can take on the Totem Raticate. Alright Ren, this is our first Totem battle. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm more than ready for this. Just stand back and watch me work. I think my beak is broken.
You had one job, my guy. Go, Midori.
They're not ready for my poison. Oh shit! I'm getting jumped!
Welcome to Alola, scrub.
Wait, hold on. Us dark types gotta stick together.
There, you got this, right?
These rodents won't know what hit them.
And despite being all by himself, Bear gave it his all and beat both the Totem Raticate and his goon.
They'll think twice before they challenge us again. Oh yeah, I picked this off their unconscious bodies.
I found out Lily's gone missing, then I found her in the flower fields looking for Nebby, so we help her out.
It's okay if I eat some of these flowers, right?
No, absolutely not. Do not eat those.
Too late. I've already had like 5.
Why would you eat those?
What? Midori's already had like a bunch of them.
Dude, I'm a Grimer. I eat garbage on a daily basis. Flowers are like an afternoon snack to me.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
Why are we here again?
We're here because we're looking for Nebby.
Nebby? What's a Nebby?
Is that slang for marijuana?
Wait! We're looking for marijuana?
What? No, no one's looking for marijuana. And I don't like how excited you got when you thought we were looking for weed. We're looking for that small blue creature that Lily carries around in her bag.
Oh, that's what you're looking for. Yeah, it's been on top of your head this whole time.
While we were there, we get a new friend being Lusah the Petalil. After taking on and defeating the Raticate trial, we finally earned the right to take on Kahuna Hala and his fighting types. Hala says he's going all out, but we find out later that they don't fight you at full strength until they rematch you at the end of your trials. So that was a fucking lie. Ren actually clutches up and takes out both the Mankey and the Makuhita. Also during the match, Ren did the Rowlet meme thing where he turns his head 180 degrees mid-match. Thought you guys wanted to see that. Unfortunately, an all-out pummeling from Kerballer is enough to take him out. So Lusah and Midori work together to take it out and we win our first grand trial. After the battle, we get the Ride Pager and gain access to Tauros Charge, which gives us access to a new friend, Zold the Bonsly, who we immediately evolve into Sudowoodo. Now onto Akala Island. As soon as we get to Route 5, we get access to a new Pokemon, Viridi the Fomantis, and using the island scan we find Berday the Bellsprout. Also, Ren evolves into Dartrix. At the end of Route 5, we have our first run-in with Edge McEdgerson himself, Gladion. Zold is a perfect counter to type no, so we win with ease. Then we finally have our next trial against Totem Wishiwashi. So a couple of fishes figured out how to use the power of friendship, so what? Go, Zold!
Actually, a Sudowoodo would actually rather kill ourselves than even think about fighting a water type. So yeah, sorry about that. Sudowoodo!
And for the record, fish, plural, is still fish, not fishes.
If you're so smart, then you take them on.
With pleasure. I already have the type advantage, so this will be a piece of pie. I'll never eat sushi again.
I evolved Bear into Charger Bug, but it turns out we didn't even need him. After Zold and Rin let me down, I sent out Berday to paralyze it with Stun Spore and lower its special defense with Acid Spray, a very underrated move. After that, a Mega Drain from Lusah was more than enough to take it out. It also had a solo form Wishy-Washy as an ally, but dog, look at the rest of my team. Hey guys, while we're still in Brooklet Hill, do you think I should catch a Dupiter?
Its legs are more of a greenish yellow than a yellowish green. It shouldn't even count.
Like you're one to talk. You're not even in Alola's Pokedex. You shouldn't even be here.
Yeah, well, I'm still green, so I don't want to hear it.
Ugh, what are you, blind? That's clearly a shade of green.
Cut it out, guys. Jesus Christ, you sound like someone's YouTube comment section. Look, I'll go on Bulbapedia and see what they say. Huh, it turns out Dupiter is actually considered green.
Ha! I was right.
Yeah, whatever.
I name him Kesk. We do the shitty ass Battle Royale Dome thing, and then it's right to the next trial against Totem Salazzle. Now you would think that this would be troublesome because most of my Pokemon are weak to fire, but it actually wasn't that bad. Rin goes in first. And loses. Big shocker there. Kesk does as much damage as he can with Bubble Beam, and then Zold comes out and finishes her off with a bunch of rocks. Then Midori comes out last to take care of the ally Salandit with Bite, and we earn a Fire MZ Crystal. Man, that trial sure was stressful, wasn't it?
Yes! Yes, it was.
It sure would suck if we fought the next trial right now.
Yes, it would.
I evolved Kesk into an Araquanid, Berday into a Weeping Bell, and then we fight the last totem trial on Akala Island, Totem Lurantis. I thought since all my Pokemon had some form of an advantage against her, I would just throw them all at her one at a time until she dies. But this Lurantis proved to be more persistent than I thought.
She's healing more damage than we can dish out. I don't think we can win this.
Yeah, if only there was a way we could temporarily power up one of our moves to give us the edge in battle.
yeah, if only. I eventually smartened up and had Midori use Acid Spray to lower Lurantis' special defense, so Berday could come in with its own Acid Spray boosted by Poison Barb and eradicates the Praying Mantis. There was also an annoying Trumbeak, but Bear handled it. Not only did we get a very important Z Crystal, but we gained access to 2 new pals, Oma'oma'o, and look, it's the solo striker herself, Afia, just not fully evolved yet. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then go watch this video for full context. Please watch it, I worked very hard on that, link in the description. I do manage to evolve it once into a Steenie, so there's that. I was thinking about how useful Verde was in the last trial battle, and then realized that he does not stack up well against the next 2 trials at all. He won't be able to evolve either because Vikavolt is not green. So I decided to put him in the PC and let him stay there for the rest of the journey. We check out the Dimensional Research Lab, see a vagina in the sky, go through Diglett's tunnel and tag team against Team Skull with some help from Hao, and we get 2 new encounters, Hejo the Phantom, who immediately evolves into a Trevenant, and thanks to this guy, we can get Jahni the Archon, who I know is not green, but Archeops is. Just look at the top of his head and his ankle feathers. And in case you guys disagree, yeah, it's green. While heading through Akala outskirts, I run into Team Skull's only admin, Plumeria. Zold handles her no problem. Now that the game is done throwing filler content at us, we finally square up against Akala Island's kahuna, Olivia. But she's rocking all rock types, so I literally just grab all my best grass types and Rin and fucking demolish her entire team. It was a bloodbath.
Wow, that was the easiest battle of all time. Is every fight that you guys have like this?
Oh yeah, Oma. We win all our battles, no problem. Right, Ren?
Every battle.
We go to Ether Paradise, find some tentacle porn, then it's straight to Ula Ula. And the first thing we do is fight Hao yet again. We beat him same as always, and he doesn't even let it face him one bit. It honestly takes talent. In Mally Garden, we get a new pal being Koren the Poliwag, who immediately evolves all the way up to a Politoed. We make our way through Route 10 and all the way up to the Hokulani Observatory. I'm told this is the spot where my next trial is, so when I go to the PC to make the perfect team and evolve Verde into Victory Bell, I realize that Verde is not even there. The actual puzzle part of the trial was ass. Everything was black and it was just an audio quiz. But when the lights came back on, the totem was right in front of us. I was excited to try out my plan, but then he spoke.
Surprised to see me?
It was Verde. He broke out of the PC, somehow evolved into a Vikavolt, and became the totem Pokemon of the electric trial. Verde, you're supposed to be on our side. Why are you doing this?
You really thought I'd be fine with you just leaving me in the PC forever? Never evolving me? Wrong. This disrespect will not be taken lightly. So now I'm going to crush you and all your hopes and dreams. Right here, right now.
I didn't want to fight Verde. He meant a lot to me. But this island challenge had to go on. I sent out Hejo first, and unfortunately for Verde, Hejo had just learned a move that was perfect for fighting totem Pokemon, Curse. Hejo uses Curse right away and Verde responds with a Bug Bite. Verde then decides to call on a new homie, who is green by the way, to help him jump us. Hejo gets to sneak in one last Shadow Claw before Verde and his new ally put him down. Thanks to that one Shadow Claw and the residual Curse damage, Verde actually isn't doing too good. So I send out Zold next, and he activates a Continental Crush.
I don't understand. I thought we were friends.
That was before you casted me aside, like a piece of trash! I could never be friends with heathens like you!
We've got no choice. Do it, Zold!
Yeah!
And with that one Z move, it was all over.
Oh yeah.
I get the Electrium Z, but Verde was the only Pokemon I had that could actually use it. Anyway, all that savvy shit aside, we meet back up with Kukui in Mally Garden, but our talk is interrupted by the leader of Team Skull himself, it's your boy, Guzma. This fight wasn't that bad. Koren beats the Golisopod with Psychic, yes it can learn Psychic, and Rin beats his Ariados with Pluck. I go back to Mally City to get an encounter I missed, a Trubbish named Mr.Gus. Look, I ran out of good green language names, so now we're switching to green characters. We make our way through routes 12 through 14, evolve Lusah into a Lilligant, make it to the other house, and Acerola tells us she's finally ready to start our trial. So now we are up against a totem Mimikyu that has all of its stats boosted by 1. I know I said using Curse was the best way to handle totem Pokemon, but this Mimikyu has Stab Shadow Claw, which will definitely one-shot Hejo before he even gets the chance to breathe because the move is super effective against him. Not only that, but the move has a high chance to get a critical hit which ignores stat debuffs. So no matter how much I use Growl or play nice, there's still a decent chance Hejo is still gonna get one shot. So I had to come up with a different plan instead. I sent out Zold first to use Tearful Look a bunch of times, lowering the Mimikyu's offensive stats so my entire team doesn't get 2-shot until he is taken out by Mimikyu and its ally Haunter. Then Berday comes out on the field and spams Knock Off to knock off the Mimikyu's Lumberry until Berday himself gets bodied. Then Lusah comes out and uses Leech Seed and Stun Spore on Mimikyu, really hindering it. And then Rin comes out swapping places with Lusah to use Shadow Claw. Thank God Dartrix can use Shadow Claw for some super effective chip damage. And after all that, thanks to stat drops, status conditions, and knockoffs and Shadow Claw, it was finally at a low enough health for Viridi, who is now a Lurantis by the way, to come out onto the field and use Gracium Z Bloom Doom to finally finish the Mimikyu off. Oh yeah, and then Midori came in to kill the Haunter in one attack with Crunch. It took all of our combined strength, but we did it. Back at the other house, Plumeria is waiting for us, so we fight her for the second and last time. The outcome is the same as before, but it turns out one of the Team Skull Grunts stole one of the other house's Pokemon, so we gotta go to Po Town to get it back from your boy Guzma. But before we do that, we go to Hyena Desert to find a new pal. Alright you poisonous patsies, we're here so we can look for our next new Pokemon.
Let's just hope this one doesn't try to kill us.
Haha! It's funny because one of your Pokemon turned on us.
Yeah, I got that. Now keep your eyes peeled for a Trapinch. It's a little orange Pokemon with vexatious eyes.
I think you mean Vexus.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced vexatious.
It's definitely pronounced Vexus.
No it isn't, there's an A in the middle.
Well, there's an H in the word spaghetti and that's silent.
Well yeah, the H is always silent when you put it behind a G. You know, like in the words ghost, ghoul, ghetto.
Just admit it's Vexus, man.
Hey buddy, you just rolling from Stupid Town?
Bitch! Now where were we?
Berday, what are you doing? That's the Pokemon we were looking for.
Marcus! I'm back! Oh dear God! Marcus! What happened to you?
His name is Oscar, and I immediately evolve him into a Vibrava. And on the way to Po Town, I get another encounter thanks to Island Scan, Zim the Duosion on Route 16. This is the last Pokemon I catch. In other news, Afia evolves into a Sarina, and even Rin, the son of a bitch, finally evolves into a Decidueye. I make it to Po Town and beat the crap out of every Team Skullgoon that dares challenge us until we get the run back with the bug-type connoisseur, your boy Guzma. He's got the same 2 Pokemon as before, so we beat him the same way. And this time we even get a Z Crystal. We make it back to Ether House again, just to find out Lily basically got kidnapped by Team Skull. Gladion hears this and it makes him so mad he starts a battle with us. I start the battle with Zim and take out his Golbat with Psychic. Sneasel comes out, so Jahni, who is now an Archeops, one-shots it with Rock Throw. And lastly, Zold beats Type Null the same way as last time. After we beat his ass, he makes us come with him to the ferry terminal for some reason. I go there and Nanu suddenly shows up out of nowhere, tells me that he's the kahuna of the island and that I should battle him. Okay, I guess we're doing this? Lusah blasts the stabilized head off, Koren takes out the Krokorok, and Oma takes out the Persian. This battle was actually pretty easy.
So, wait. That random-ass police officer was the island kahuna this whole time?
And he just so happened to be right there. Right before we were leaving the island.
Yeah, it's almost as if the writers put him right there for us to battle so we wouldn't have to come all the way back just for the sake of fighting him and ruining the pacing of the story. Oh wait, after that, Gladion takes me and Hal back to Ether Paradise because apparently that's where she'll be. So we get there and we just beat the shit out of everyone we come across. Eventually we find out Team Skull is helping Ether Paradise, so we beat the shit out of them too. Except for this guy cause he's got some sense. But after we beat them, we run the ones with your boy Guzma one last time. But this time he's got 4 Pokemon instead of 2. So instead of just Koren beating his Golisopod and Rin beating his Ariados and that's it, what happens is Koren beating his Golisopod and Rin beating his Ariados. Oscar uses Rock Slide on the Masquerain and Jahni uses Rock Slide on the Pinsir. So we win the battle.
You would think he would have learned his lesson after the first few times we beat him.
Yeah, I guess being the leader of Team Skull inflated his head too big for his own good.
Which is too bad, because he is trash when it comes to Pokemon battling. That battle was easy, even for me.
You just had to jinx it, didn't you? Our next Pokemon battle is with Lusah, and she is no joke. This battle was tough, but to summarize it, Jahni beats her Clefable with Steel Wing. Midori, who finally evolves into a Muck, beats her Lilligit with Gunk Shot. Mr.Gus, who is now a Garbodor, beats her Mismagius with Payback. Oma beats her Milotic with Grass Knot. And finally Zim, who is now a Reuniclus, beats her Beware with Psychic. Even though we won, Lusah makes an Ultra Wormhole, takes off into it, and your boy Guzma goes in after her.
Okay, well, that just happened.
You gotta understand something. I just joined you guys not too long ago. Is it always like this around you guys?
No, usually we just beat the pulling out of everyone you come across. I don't know what that was all about.
That was easily the 3rd craziest thing I've ever seen.
What was the second?
Don't ask. I don't want to talk about it.
Gladion gives us the Sun Flute and drops us off at Pony Island to find the island kahuna. But Habu tells us that there is no kahuna, but she literally becomes the kahuna of Pony Island 2 seconds later. She basically tells us that we need to play the Sun Flute and the Moon Flute at the same time at the altar to summon Lunala. Since we already have the Sun Flute, we go to Executor Island and get the Moon Flute. But before we can head to the altar, we have our last grand child battle with Hapu no less. You would think that I would sick all my grass types on her like I did with Olivia, but no, I only needed 1. You see, Lusah learns Quiver Dance at level 28, so I literally just used Quiver Dance twice and then—
Hey boys, check this out! Like a Lilligant do.
While we're on the topic of ground types, Oscar finally fully evolves into a Flygon. We're making our way towards the altar, but we suddenly come across a trial site. We run into it only to find a— This battle was sudden, but I at least managed to scrape up a strategy.
Boop.
We go to the altar, pull out the flutes, and I'm no good at playing flutes. Here, do you want to try?
Sure, I'll try. Was that good?
Yeah, it was alright. Playing the flutes causes Nebby to evolve into the guy from the box art. Go figure. Nebby makes an ultra wormhole, we go into it and end up in space purgatory. Oh hey, we found Lusah.
All we have to do is beat her again, like we did back at the— Oh my god! What the hell is that?
This is easily the second craziest thing I've ever seen.
What the hell was your life like before you met us?
Oh yeah, and as for the fight, it was literally the exact same as before. Nebby frees Lusah from her Nahaligo situation and warps us back to the altar. Hapu takes Lusah to a doctor and literally basically tells us to catch Nebby. But it's not green, so we sent it to the shuttle realm. Nanu comes out of nowhere and tells us the Pokemon League is ready. So we go to check it out, only to be stopped by Gladion for one last final battle. Zim handles his bat, same as before. Viridi, yeah, remember her, one-shots his Weavile with Big Break. Oscar uses Earthquake and kills his Lucario. And lastly, Zold handles Sableye for the third and final time. We're almost to the Elite Four, but Hao stops us for one last final battle. Look, does anybody even care about him anymore? I mean, it's Hao. You already know I skilled if him. This video's been going on long enough anyways. Okay, here we are, the Elite Four. I've made a bunch of friends on this journey, but I was only allowed to bring 6 of them. It took an hour of thinking and calculating, but I finally decided on 6. And they are Berday, Oscar, Zim, Koren, Midori, and Zold, who was probably the MVP of this entire run. Everyone else gets left behind in the box, even Rin. I wanted to take him since he was the first, but he just did not stack up well against 2 of the Elite Four members. So I grabbed the 6 of my crew and went in. I started my massacre first with Hala. He's got a bunch of strong fighting types, but they were no match for the psychic attacks from Zim and Koren.
For someone who's not a psychic type, you use the move Psychic very well.
Thanks, I try.
Next up is Olivia and her rock types, but Berday and Oscar put them down with energy balls and earthquakes respectively.
Hey, nice hustle out there, Oscar.
Shut up! I still haven't forgiven you for what you did to Marcus.
Whatever, he shouldn't disrespect me like that. He had it coming.
Third is Acerola covering for her uncle with spooky ghosts, but they were no match for Midori's jaws, as he crunches down on every single one of them.
My name might be Midori, but I sure ain't mid.
Last but not least is the golf-craving Kahili and her flock of flying types, but Zold takes the phrase 2 birds with 1 stone a little too literal, as he bests all of them with Stone Edge.
I'm all bark and bite.
And finally, at long last, we made it to the final battle. We had to go through 4 islands, 11 trials, and an entire betrayal arc, but we're here. Kukui shows up and says he's the last challenge to go through before we can become champion, and the battle begins. And oh man, Kukui did not come here to play. This team is stacked. But I'd expect no less from someone who's already went through the island challenge, beat the Kanto gym leaders, and beat 3 of the Indigo League's Elite Four. He starts out with his trademark Lycanroc, but it gets straight up one-shot by Berday's Energy Ball. Kukui sends out Breviary and it uses Tailwind to boost its ally's speed, but then takes a critical hit Stone Edge from Zold, knocking it out in 1 hit. Out next is his strongest, most dangerous Pokemon, Incineroar. Koren tries to take him out with super effective Scald, but his stab Darkest Lariat was just too much for him to handle. Zold comes back out again and finishes the Incineroar off. A Snorlax comes out, so I send out Midori only for him to take a super effective high horsepower. It's alright though, because Midori beats the Snorlax with Crunch. Kukui's 5th Pokemon is Alolan Ninetales, who just gets one shot by a Metal Coat boosted Flash Cannon by Zim. Don't know why he can learn that move, but you sure as shit won't see me complain. His final Pokemon is just a Magnezone, but Oscar comes out and hits it with a 2-piece Earthquake combo with no biscuit, taking it out, and that is it. After all this fighting, we did it. Going through this island challenge was some of the most fun I've had playing Pokemon ever. I got to use a lot of fun Pokemon, and although some of them didn't get as much screen time as the others, they were still loved all the same. And huge thanks to all the voice actors who helped bring a little life into the animatic portions of this video. This all took months to make, and now that I'm finally done with all this drawing, I'm gonna give my right hand the break it deserves. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to eat your vegetables.